The council chamber was larger than any city square on Earth. It was a hall of endless stone arches and glowing crystal towers, each beam of light holding the banners of 1,000 alien worlds. The chamber floated above a gas giant, its clouds of fire and lightning rolling far below. Inside, voices clashed like storms. Every seat was filled by rulers, generals, and speakers of species spread across the galaxy. They had come to decide one matter, one question, one threat. That threat was Earth. For years, whispers had grown louder. The humans had advanced too quickly. They had broken old limits. They had risen from a small world at the edge of the spiral arms to a presence that could not be ignored. They moved through space with a speed no one expected. They fought with an intensity few had ever seen. They learned with a hunger that frightened old civilizations. The Council did not like what it saw. "Humanity is reckless," spoke one tall figure whose body shimmered like molten glass. His voice echoed across the chamber. "They build weapons faster than treaties. They settle worlds without permission. They look at the galaxy as if it belongs to them." Others nodded, their faces dark with fear. A warlord with scaled skin and golden eyes struck the table with his claws. "If we wait longer, they will be beyond control. Their fleets will match ours. Their armies will rival ours. We cannot allow this infestation to grow." But there were voices of doubt. An elder from a water world, her body wrapped in flowing silk, raised a hand. "You speak of infestation, but they are not like the plagues we once destroyed. They are something else. Something dangerous, yes, but something different," the chamber roared. Shouts rose in every tongue. Some demanded the extermination of Earth. Others warned of unknown risk. The debate twisted and burned for hours. The humans themselves were not present. They had no seat in the council. They were not invited to speak. Decisions would be made about them, not with them. At last the High Speaker rose. She was old, her skin carved with silver lines, her eyes glowing faint blue. When she stood, silence fell. Even warlords bent their heads. "The matter is clear," she said, her voice calm but heavy. "We will vote." The chamber shifted. Crystals in the walls pulsed with light. Each delegate raised a hand or claw or tendril. Each gave their choice. The crystals changed color to mark the decision. Vote after vote lit the chamber with a glow like burning. Suns for invasion, for war, for the destruction of Earth. The humans had been judged too dangerous to live free. As the lights filled the hall, a sense of power rose among the council. They saw themselves as saviors of the galaxy. They would strike quickly, remove the threat, and restore balance. They believed history would remember them as the ones who acted with wisdom. But under that glow of victory, there was something else. A faint unease, a whisper that moved like smoke between the arches. A few saw the numbers and felt their hearts turn cold. The vote was not just a decision, it was a mistake. On a distant world, the first fleets were already being prepared. Black ships with wings of steel lined up in orbital docks. Cannons the size of mountains were loaded with fresh fuel. Armies gathered on staging planets, their armor gleaming under alien suns. They sang war songs in 100 voices, each one promising Earth's end. The council chamber buzzed with triumph. The scaled warlord laughed. "It will be over in a month. Their defenses are nothing compared to our firepower." The glass-bodied figure bowed. "Humanity will learn the price of arrogance." But the elder from the water world did not join the celebration. She kept her gaze low, her hands trembling. "You do not understand them," she whispered, though no one listened. "They are not like us. They are something else. If you strike them, they will not break. They will not fall. They will rise." Her warning was drowned by cheers. Far beyond the chamber, on a small blue planet under a yellow sun, humans went about their lives unaware of the storm about to fall upon them. But somewhere in hidden bases, deep within dark oceans and mountains, plans were waiting. Silent ships stood ready. Signals traveled across secret channels. Humanity was not as blind as the council believed. The vote had been made. The war was coming. But the future the council imagined was not the one they would face. Because the moment they chose war, they sealed their own fate. The chamber's lights dimmed. The High Speaker closed her eyes, and the echo of the vote rolled like thunder through the galaxy. The invasion of Earth had begun, and with it, the unraveling of an empire. The first strike, the fleets of the council moved like shadows across the stars. Planet after planet became a staging ground for war. Docks thundered with the sound of war engines. Soldiers filled the barracks, their eyes hungry for battle. Commanders spoke with pride, telling their armies that Earth was nothing more than a wild world. A world that would fall like countless others had fallen before. To the Council, this invasion was not a question. It was a certainty. In orbit above the jewel-colored planet Dresna, the first armada gathered. Thousands of ships lined up in cold precision, their hulls gleaming under twin suns. Each ship was designed to crush resistance with firepower that could melt continents. Their engines burned so bright that entire skies glowed red when they moved. The commanders watched with pride as the fleet stretched into the dark. Among them was General Vorex, the scaled warlord who had spoken so loudly in the council chamber. He stood on the command bridge of his flagship, his golden eyes fixed on the star charts. "Humanity will be broken," he said to his officers. "When we are finished, Earth will be nothing but ash and the galaxy will never speak of them again." His officers bowed. None dared question him. None dared admit the unease growing in their chests. The order was given. The fleet began its journey. Through wormholes and slipstreams, the ships vanished from their home skies and reappeared closer and closer to the Sol system. Space twisted around them as they jumped forward, step by step, toward Earth. Each jump brought them nearer to the small blue planet that had defied their council. The soldiers sang as they traveled. Their songs were filled with certainty. They believed this would be quick, that humanity would beg for mercy. Some even dreamed of Earth's oceans, mountains, and cities being theirs to conquer, theirs to plunder. But far ahead, in the deep silence of human space, signals whispered. Hidden satellites caught the first glimpse of the invading fleet. Codes were sent across secret networks. Orders were passed in silence. Humanity had seen the storm approaching. Humanity was not unprepared. On the surface of Earth, life appeared calm. Children still played in streets. Light still filled the cities. Factories still moved with the rhythm of daily life. But beneath the oceans, deep under mountains, and hidden among the stars, something else was happening. Massive shipyards, invisible to the alien eye, were alive with motion. Human warships, black and sharp-edged, drifted like predators in the dark. The aliens did not know. They believed Earth was still fragile. They believed humanity had no answer. The first alien scouts entered the edge of the solar system. Their reports carried arrogance. No defenses, no fleets. Earth will fall easily. General Vorex smiled at those words. His claws tapped against the command table. Advance, reordered. The fleet surged forward. The blackness of space cracked with their engines. Soon their warships reached the orbit of Neptune, then Jupiter, then Mars. Planet after planet became nothing more than a stepping stone toward Earth. The aliens expected no fight until they reached the final world. But then, in the emptiness between Mars and Earth, something stirred. From the shadow of an asteroid belt, signals flared. Strange weapons blinked in the dark. Before the alien fleet could react, the silence of space shattered. A human ship appeared. It was not as large as the alien dreadnoughts. It did not glow with the same fire, but it moved with a sharpness that none of them understood. Its design was alien to the aliens. Its hull was coated in black plates that bent light. Its weapons flared once, and a scout ship at the front of the fleet exploded into nothing. The Council's fleet froze. "What is this?" barked Vorex. More human ships appeared, from shadows, from hidden stations, from orbits they had overlooked. Dozens at first, then hundreds. They were fewer in number than the Council's massive fleet, but they moved as if every action had been prepared, every strike calculated. The first battle began. Alien cannons roared, filling the dark with streams of fire. Human ships darted between them with impossible speed, their weapons sharp and merciless. An alien cruiser exploded in a burst of flame. Another broke apart as silent missiles tore through its heart. The aliens had expected surrender. Instead, they met resistance unlike anything they had faced before. Reports filled the Council's comms. "Losses on the left flank. The humans are too fast. We cannot lock their positions." General Vorex snarled, refusing to believe what he saw. "Press forward. Overwhelm them." But pressing forward only revealed more. More human ships appeared, not from behind, not from far away, but from everywhere. They had been waiting. They had been watching. The alien fleet, once proud and unbreakable, felt the first weight of fear. Vorex's golden eyes narrowed as he stared at the dark shapes cutting through his armada. He realized then what the Elder had whispered in the council chamber. These humans were not like others. They were not weak, not careless. They were dangerous in ways the Council had never understood. Still, he clenched his claws and roared, "Destroy them!" The stars burned with war. The invasion had begun. But the easy victory the Council promised had already died in fire. Humanity answers, the void was filled with fire. Alien cannons thundered across the solar system, each blast powerful enough to tear mountains from the surface of a planet. But the humans did not fight like the Council expected. They did not line up in rows. They did not match ship for ship. They moved like hunters, fast and silent, striking from the shadows and disappearing before the enemy could strike back. One alien commander shouted across his bridge, "Track their signatures! They cannot hide forever!" But his screen showed nothing. The human ships were cloaked by strange fields that bent light and swallowed signals. By the time sensors found them, it was already too late. A single black vessel slid under the belly of a Council dreadnought. It fired once. The dreadnought split open, its burning core spilling into the dark. Thousands of alien soldiers screamed before silence swallowed them. Shock spread through the fleet. The aliens had come to win glory. They had come to crush a wild species. Instead, they found themselves being cut apart by ships they had never seen before, ships designed with precision and a cruel kind of patience. General Vorex roared on the command bridge of his flagship. "Form up, surround them!" His claws dug into the table as his ship scrambled to obey. But every time they closed ranks, the humans slipped through the cracks. Every formation was broken. Every trap was turned against the one who set it. It was not just the ships. It was the minds behind them. Human captains fought with a style the Council had never imagined. They did not cling to old codes of honor. They did not wait for orders. Each one acted like a predator, reading the battlefield, striking where the enemy was weakest. Their movements were unshakable, their timing flawless. It was as if every human ship had been waiting for this exact battle, this exact moment. Vorex's golden eyes narrowed. For the first time in decades, he felt doubt. Across the galaxy, the Council watched through live feeds. The High Speaker sat in her throne, her glowing eyes fixed on the burning ships. She heard the reports, losses climbing, squadrons breaking. The humans are unstoppable. The chamber, once filled with confidence, now trembled with whispers. Still, the Council clung to pride. "They are only human," said one. "Their numbers are small. Crush them and the war is ours." But numbers meant nothing now. On Earth, the people watched the skies with quiet fear. They knew the Council had come to destroy them. Yet they also knew their fleets were no longer weak. Humanity had hidden its true weapons for this moment. While alien eyes looked elsewhere, Earth had built machines of war that no empire had prepared for. Above the blue oceans and green continents, human carriers rose from hidden bays. Each carrier released waves of fighter craft, sleek and black, their engines whispering like storms. They cut through the void like blades of light. An alien admiral sneered when the reports came. "More ships. It will not change the outcome." He did not finish speaking. At that moment, the fighters swarmed his command ship. They attacked not with brute force, but with ruthless precision. Engines, shields, weapons, each was targeted in seconds. The admiral's ship died before he realized what was happening. The message was clear. Humanity was not fighting to survive. Humanity was fighting to win. As the battle raged, human weapons revealed something else. They were not copies of alien technology. They were something new. Cannons that fired compressed beams invisible to the eye. Missiles that bent their paths around defenses. Drones that fought with eerie silence, controlled by minds far away. One alien shouted, "They fight like us, yet unlike us. They know every weakness." And that was the truth. Humans had studied the Council for years. Every ship design, every tactic, every flaw. The invasion the Council thought would be swift had become a trap, set by the very world they meant to destroy. General Vorex felt the weight of it. His pride clashed with fear. His claws trembled as more ships burned around him. He had laughed in the chamber. He had called humanity arrogant. Now he saw the truth. The arrogance had been his, still he refused to retreat. His voice shook the command deck. "They cannot break us. Push forward! We are the Council's strength." But his words did not erase the sight of shattered fleets. His officers looked at one another with quiet fear. Some wondered if they were fighting not against humans, but against something greater, something the galaxy had awakened by mistake. As Earth's blue sphere came into view, human warships formed a wall before it. They did not move to attack. They simply stood in the dark, silent, glowing faintly with power. Behind them, the planet turned slowly under the sun. It was not a world begging for mercy. It was a world daring the galaxy to come closer. The Council had voted for war. The Council had chosen to strike. But now, as their fleets broke against the humans like waves against stone, the first seeds of fear spread. Humanity had answered. And the answer was not surrender. The Empire had promised a swift victory. Instead, it had found the beginning of its own fall. The shattered Council. The Council chamber, once filled with triumph, now echoed with silence. The giant crystals that lined the walls pulsed with faint light, each one carrying reports from the front. Ships burning, fleets scattered, generals lost. The alien leaders sat in heavy stillness. Their banners, once proud above their seats, now looked like ghosts drifting under the dim glow. The great hall that had roared with cheers after the vote felt colder than it had ever been. The High Speaker stared at the reports before her. She did not speak, but her eyes, once calm and sure, flickered with doubt. Every new transmission brought the same message. The invasion was failing. They were supposed to be weak, hissed a counselor with emerald scales, his voice sharp with fear. The humans should have fallen in days. They were supposed to beg for mercy, another snapped, her body made of shifting mist. Instead, they are destroying our fleets. The chamber erupted in voices. Anger, fear, denial. Some shouted that the commanders had failed. Others claimed sabotage. A few whispered the words none wanted to hear. We underestimated them. At the center of the chamber, the elder from the water world stood. She had warned them before, her soft voice lost under the storm of arrogance. Now she spoke again, her words calm but cutting. You saw them as animals, she said. You thought them careless, violent, unworthy. But they are not like us. They fight with a fire that cannot be measured by our scales. They fight as if every breath is their last. And when they are struck, they do not fall. They rise. The hall trembled with murmurs. Some lowered their heads, ashamed. Others spat in anger. The scaled warlord who had once laughed in the chamber slammed his fist against the table. Enough of this weakness. Our fleets are vast. Our weapons endless. Humanity cannot stand against us forever. We will send more. We will drown them in fire. But even as he shouted, doubt flickered in his eyes. The reports did not lie. Whole squadrons had been erased. Dreadnoughts had been torn apart by ships that should have been too small to matter. The humans were not fighting to delay. They were fighting to win. The High Speaker finally rose. Her silver-lined face looked older than before. The chamber fell silent at her movement. The vote was made, she said, her voice low. The decision cannot be undone. We chose war, and now the war has begun. But if we are to survive this, we must face truth. Her words carried across the hall like cold wind. The humans are not weak. They are not unprepared. They are something else, something the Council has never faced before. The silence that followed was heavier than any roar of anger. The Council members looked at one another, each wondering if their empire had just awakened a storm it could not control. Far away, in the dark reaches of the battlefield, General Vorex's flagship limped through the void. Fires burned across its hull. His golden eyes were hollow now, his voice rough with disbelief. He had sworn Earth would fall in days. Now he could not deny the truth. His fleet was broken. His pride was shattered. On the Council's walls, his final report played in flickering light. We misjudged them, his voice rasped. Their weapons, their tactics, their spirit, they fight like no enemy we have ever known. We cannot crush them. They will not stop. And if we keep pressing forward, it will not be Earth that falls. It will be us. The chamber shook with uproar. Some shouted to silence the message, to call it a lie. Others demanded retreat, demanded peace. The unity of the Council cracked like glass under a hammer. One delegate screamed, "We must destroy them before they spread further." Another answered, "Destroy them? Oh, they are already destroying us." The elder closed her eyes. You voted for war, she said. And in doing so, you voted for your own undoing. The High Speaker's gaze swept across the hall. She saw not strength but fear. The empire that had ruled the galaxy for centuries was breaking, not from human weapons alone, but from within. The Council had chosen war, and that choice was now tearing them apart. Beyond their chamber, the galaxy trembled. The news spread to every corner. The humans had stood against the Empire, and the Empire had bled. Worlds once loyal to the Council began to whisper. If humanity could resist, perhaps the Council was not so strong after all. For the first time in living memory, cracks spread across the foundation of their rule. And still, out there in the dark, humanity prepared for more. The war was no longer a question of invasion. It was becoming something far greater. A struggle that would decide not only Earth's survival, but the fate of the Empire itself. The Empire falls. The war that was meant to end Earth now began to consume the Empire itself. The first invasions had burned, but the humans had not broken. Instead, they had grown sharper. Each battle taught them more. Each clash revealed new weaknesses in the Empire's fleets. Where the Council saw chaos, humanity saw patterns, and they used those patterns like blades. From the shadows of space, human fleets began to move outward. No longer confined to Earth, they struck deep into enemy territory. They did not waste strength on every world. They chose targets with cold precision: supply lines, command stations, shipyards, the lifeblood of the Empire. On the world of Krezel, a massive orbital ring produced weapons for half the Council's fleets. For centuries it had been untouchable, guarded by walls of firepower. Yet one night the skies above Krezel split open. Human ships appeared out of the void, cloaked and silent. They struck with surgical speed. Within hours the ring was broken in two, its pieces falling into the oceans below like burning moons. The Empire screamed in disbelief. On another front, the proud fortress world of Thalros was breached. Its defenders had laughed at the thought of human soldiers landing on their soil. But the laughter died when human strike teams emerged from the shadows, moving like ghosts. They did not fight to hold the ground. They fought to dismantle. Power grids collapsed. Communications went dark. In a single night, Thalros, once a symbol of power, was left in silence. The Empire's subjects watched with widening eyes. For generations, the Council had ruled through fear. They had promised protection in exchange for obedience. Now that protection was crumbling. Their fleets, once thought invincible, were being destroyed by a species the Council had mocked as primitive. Whispers spread across markets, temples, and streets. If humanity could resist, perhaps the Empire could be resisted too. In the Council chamber, the voices grew frantic. Some demanded more fleets. Others demanded peace. The High Speaker sat in silence, her face lined with shadows. The elder from the water world spoke once more. The humans are not spreading for conquest, she said. They strike with precision. They do not waste strength. They cut only what they must. This is not the fury of beasts. This is the strategy of survivors. But few wanted to hear her. Pride still clung to the chamber like poison. The scaled warlord shouted again, his claws slamming the table. Then we must strike harder. Burn their world until nothing remains. Yet even as he roared, more reports arrived. Worlds falling silent, fleets vanishing. Each message was another crack in the Empire's pride. Far across the stars in the dark between systems, humanity's fleets regrouped. Their ships bore scars, their hulls blackened by battle, but their spirits burned brighter than ever. On the bridge of one flagship, a human commander stood, her voice steady. They thought we would break, she said. They thought we would beg. But we are still here, and as long as we are here, the Council will learn what it means to challenge humanity. Her words carried across the comms to every ship, to every soldier. They became more than orders. They became a vow. The humans pushed deeper. Each victory spread fear. Each strike carried a message: we are not prey. The Empire began to eat itself. Old rivalries between species rose again. Some worlds, tired of Council rule, refused to send soldiers. Others even sent secret messages to humanity, offering information, offering support. The Council had ruled for centuries by unity. That unity was gone. On one world, riots broke out. Citizens demanded freedom, inspired by the humans' defiance. On another, entire legions deserted, unwilling to fight a war they no longer believed in. The High Speaker finally spoke before the chamber again. Her voice was heavy, weighed down by the truth none wished to admit. This war was not against humanity alone. It was against ourselves. We chose arrogance. We chose blindness. And now the Empire trembles. Her words echoed through the hall. But instead of silence, the chamber broke into chaos. Some shouted for surrender. Others demanded the extermination of humanity, no matter the cost. Voices clashed like storms, each one tearing the council further apart. Meanwhile, far from their chamber, humanity's fleets prepared for the next strike. They had defended Earth. They had broken the first invasion. Now they carried the war into the heart of the Empire itself, and the Empire, vast and proud, could do nothing but watch as its own power turned to dust. The Council had voted for war. But the war was no longer theirs to control. It belonged to humanity now, and with each passing day the Empire fell deeper into ruin.